Good morning, this is Mona, and this is my morning view. I am not in my blue wig this morning. It is Read Across America week. Today is Friday. I am dressed up like Thing 2 in honor of Dr. Seuss for Read Across America. It was supposed to be Harry Potter this week, earlier on this week. Would have been Dumbledore. Did not read the memo. It's a good thing my job doesn't depend on whether I dress up or not. All right, so Fiesty Friday. This is Winter Edition 2025, and it is Fiesty Friday. Oh, I'm a little feisty. It is cold again. It says it's 40 because the sun is shining on it. The wind is blowing, and my fingers are freezing. So I know it is definitely, probably feels below 20. All right, so, did my YouTube this morning. It took three 3-minute videos because I'm just not used to saying what I need to say in 3 minutes. And so what happens is, and I was really going for the gusto, but it's like at that point it's like they don't have a basis. I didn't get to the basis until like the third video, and I really didn't even finish that. It ended before I could even do a close. So YouTube's being pretty rough on me right now with this 3-minute content. So now I've got 3-minute contents loading for today, and I don't know if they will all load, but but I am not giving up on this YouTube journey. Should have been there 9 years ago. Would not have lost all the content that I lost. It's showing that I have a little over 1,000 videos on Facebook. I should have well over 2,000 videos, probably 2,500 videos of just my morning view and not all the other like silly happy birthday videos and all those other things. So with that, I've lost a lot of content. I don't know what I have, what I don't have. It's going to take a while to go through those and see what's there. Hopefully my very best ones are there. And I know some of my, oh my gosh, videos are there. Those beginning clunkers. So with that, I just want to say that Fiesty Friday on YouTube. Go to YouTube, subscribe, like, hit all the bells and whistles. Remember, when I'm talking about stuff, I'm not really talking about stuff. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. That's what we're talking about. Okay? So today, for Fiesty Friday, I'm talking about Ukraine and Russia, because they are what is in the news right now. I'm not getting political. I'm just bringing out points. Okay? So I got mixed feelings about this whole thing, right? I'm not on one side of that. I'm on the American side. I'm not on Russia's side. I'm not on the European side. I'm on the side of the United States of America. However, there are things that we need to address being a, quote, superpower. Not that we would be we're kind of struggling right now as a superpower. We don't have the superpower status that we once had. Some of you may find that offensive. You know that I get to offend on Friday, to even offend myself. All right? So nobody is excluded. You're all inclusive to the offense on Fridays. And whether you take it as an offense or whether you don't, that's up to you. And that's really what all this is about. You and me, right? How we perceive things, how we perceive our environment. My temperature gauge over there says it's almost 40 degrees, but the sun is shining on it. And if the sun is shining on it, it's going to have a greenhouse effect. And when the greenhouse effect happens, it's telling us that it's warmer than it really is. In the meantime, we have this wicked wind blowing. And this wind, while it's blowing, makes it even colder. So even if the thermometer wasn't registering with a greenhouse effect, it would still be colder. The climate would be colder. And that's what happens when we don't have all the information. When we just look at one side of the information, and that's what we're going to make our opinions and stand on. Excuse me. Nose has been running ever since I started the lives. So yeah, it was a problem during my 3-minute videos too. So, woo! If you could see those trees whipping, I don't know if you can see them. I mean, they don't have, I don't think the camera does it justice. I really don't. So anyways, what was I saying as my fingers are in severe pain from the cold? Russia and Ukraine, mixed feelings about it. Have opinions. Looking at it, seeing Zelensky coming as a leader of a country that is going down, and he's trying to pull out all the stops. He's trying to save his country, beg, borrow, steal, whatever he can do. I guess, you know. I say that like I don't say that as I believe he's a thief. I just, you know, that's the phrase, beg, borrow, and steal. Okay, so he doesn't want his country to go under. Now, whether that's for pride, because it's like, oh, I'm the leader, and so as the leader, that's where my mark in history is going to be, is when the fall of Ukraine, I was the leader. Doesn't make him look like a very good leader, does it? But on the other hand, look who he's going against, okay? So now you're looking at Russia. Ukraine used to be part of the USSR. And so Putin's like, I want my territory back. He already took Georgia. Pretty sure he took Georgia. And now he wants Ukraine. And he settled down a little bit during the first Trump administration. But when Biden came in, he took Ukraine full force, going in. More, not full force, it was more like a cat and a mouse game. You know, the cat likes to play with the mouse first. He wants to torture it a little bit. That's how I look at this war, because I think Russia could have just come in and taken it. They had that strength. The Russian people, full of heart, wanting to hold on to their country, did everything they could. Now it's just a meat locker. So when I see Russia and Ukraine, and I think about how, Russia wants the water rights for warm water ports. He wants, and that's really the intent of taking the land. Now, yes, there are minerals in the land. If they take the land, they get the minerals and the water, and so it's this, he's been playing this cat and mouse game, and the people are just dying. And it's hurting Zelensky, both here and here, right? So he's going to try to do whatever he's going to do. And at the same time, as Americans, we haven't been in the best shape either, as individual Americans. There are some Americans that are doing really, really, really great. And there's some that aren't. And the middle class gets the brunt of just about everything. And the middle class surprises of the most of the United States. And it's like, not for nothing, where is our tax dollars going? And we've been hearing about these dollars going out and out and out and out. And you got to remember that we're a humanitarian country. We have because we give. It's the premise in the Bible about giving. But you have to be wise in your giving. You don't just give to everybody. You know, when people win the lottery, what happens? Everybody and their brother becomes their relative or a good cause. And they are inundated with people wanting them to give them money because they've won the lottery. You can give it all away, as long as you want to give it all away. But you shouldn't be filled pressure to give it all away. Right? So there's a wisdom to giving. And you know, I've talked about giving before. So, you know, let's just know that we are a humanitarian nation. So here we are with Russia and Ukraine, and we're standing in the middle, going, you know, you want peace, you don't want peace, what do you want, what are you willing to give up? There's got to be a compromise for peace, because the place is a meat locker. Now, when we were fighting for our independence, it was a little bit different. Just a little. We came over, and we were a colony. There was a colony there, right? I mean, there was people that came over on the Mayflower, and, you know, those that had come into Virginia, and, you know, they tried several colonies there, and, you know, different things. I'm not going to give you a history lesson here. And then we ended up forming a situation where, you know, they wanted to no longer be part of England because of, well, tariffs. You know, the whole Tea Party, the Boston Tea Party. Boston Tea Party! I said it just like a Bostonian. Oh, the Boston Tea Party. The Tea Party was about the tariffs. And we got mad. Said we don't want the tariffs. You can have your stinking tea. Alright. Of course, they dressed up like Native Americans so that the Native Americans would be blamed. And they wouldn't. That was not right. That was kind of deceitful. So, you know, there was things done. Believe me, I am not a British versus the colonists, you know, person. I'm just looking at history. And so they want their freedom. They're looking at, you know, we've been under the thumb of Russia before. And it's not pretty. We don't have certain rights that we have in the United States, being under Russia's thumbs. People are saying, well, fight for your country. Did you know that we had help from the French? Did you know we had help from different ones? Did you know that during the Civil War, the French were going to hop in with the South? They were going to hop in with the South and help if they took Gettysburg. If they showed that they could advance into the Northern Territories, because most of the battles were in the South, if they could advance into the Northern Territory, then they would show promise, and France would have jumped in. Would have had a whole different outcome. I am not pro for the United States. We've been in enough wars. And the picking and choosing of wars and battles is a little bit ridiculous. You know, if it meets our interest, if it, whatever. With Ukraine, like I said, it had to do with I don't know if I said it here or if I said it on my YouTube version of this. My 3-minute, 9-minute version of this. Because I did it 3 times. Back in the 80s, I want to say in the 80s, it may have been in the early 90s, there was a treaty concerning taking down the wall. The wall came down, I think October 89, maybe October 90. I'm not positive on the dates on this. We were over in Germany when it came down. So anyways, a treaty was agreed upon that there would be no NATO state, no NATO coming closer to the borders of Russia, and that has been negated. When they took in Poland, I think Poland is part of NATO now, another country, part of NATO. They inched their way closer to Russia, making Russia really nervous. Yeah, you're getting close to my borders here. We need a buffer zone. It's kind of like the DMZ in Korea, you know. You have that space between North and South Korea. Demilitarized zone. So they want this space, this buffer, and that was breached. And they want the water rights. And hey, the minerals are a plus. You know, got to make Russia great again, right? That's a terrible way of saying that. It's Feisty Friday. I get to offend President Trump too if I want. All right. So with that, because I get to offend everybody. Nobody's got an exception. Nobody, to include myself. So, as I'm sitting there thinking about what's going on with Russia, what are the things that they're thinking about? What are the things that Zelensky and the Ukraine is thinking about? They've lost so many people. So many people have been lost in this war. And it's got to break the hearts of the Ukrainian people. And it's like, do they want to keep giving up the lives of their men and possibly women, children? Because when the battle is on your land, the soldiers aren't the only ones getting killed. Okay? They're not. So my heart goes out to them. But at the same time, you know, we have to be wise in where our funds go. Because where is the account for the funds? When people have audits all the time. And so when you're auditing, you're like, okay, we're spending this many funds to this project. Where is this project? What is the outcome here to the funds going out, right? It's an accountability of where the funds are going and what they are actually doing. The government has not had that in a very long time. Obviously, when they're giving people over 130 years old Social Security checks. Now, I'm hoping when I'm 130 years old, I am still getting a Social Security check. I do. Because I don't think I'm going to be working at that age. I'll still be coming here as long as I can hit the button. So having an accountability for that, right? And I'm sitting there thinking about the whole thing. And I'm thinking about how Ukraine used to be part of the USSR. And my thought went to Texas. Hold on. Sorry about that. My thought went to Texas. Because I sat there and thought, we kind of took Texas. What if Mexico wanted Texas back? How would we feel about that? How would we feel about... Now, mind you, we'd be on it. We'd be on it. We wouldn't let that happen. And we would do whatever it took to make sure that it didn't happen. What if Mexico would have had all that oil that came out of Texas? All the ports, all the everything, right? So it's just a thought. I'm not talking about being for the Ukraine. I am not talking about being for Russia. What I'm looking at is this. I'm seeing a whole lot of people upset, afraid, scared. They're afraid of the administration that's in. They're having a lot of anxiety going on. They're losing friendships. They're losing people around them that are, you know, they because of opinion. Our opinions should not divide us from our friends and our family. There's enough other divisive things going on between friendships and family that the opinions, by a small amount of information, should cause so much stress and anxiety. Okay? That's where I'm talking about. I take all of that, now we're setting that to the side, and we're talking about us, you and me. How is it affecting us? And when I sit there and I see it starting all over again on Facebook, the tit for tat, the back and forth, the, oh, this is not, you know, this is, that person is a crook, that person is, you know, it's all about themselves. Guess what? You don't even know who I'm talking about, because I've heard it on both sides. Both sides are saying, he's a crook, he's a crook, he's a crook, he's an arrogant, he's an arrogant, he's an arrogant. When I saw the brief clip of the meeting between Trump and the vice president and Zelensky, I saw three arrogants there. Three arrogant attitudes. Reminded me very much of corporate. The problem, it was a 2 against 1 guy there. And I'm not saying that any of them were right and any of them are wrong. I'm just saying I saw 3 very arrogant things happening during that time, because they're passionate about the subject. President Trump wants to protect the American people and help to build America up in its yes, finances, both in the home and in the country, because without it, if you give everything away, then you don't have a leg to stand on. I had a friend of mine, he had a fake leg. He used to take it off, set it up near the table. He didn't have a leg to stand on. It was quite funny. He was a funny guy. He passed away, and he's missed. But he did not see eye to eye in politics. We did not. But you know what? We didn't let it get in the way of our friendship. When we start letting that happen, when we start letting circumstances control us, instead of us controlling ourselves within the circumstances. The wind gets pretty wicked. It's March. It's expected. We have a lot of dead trees, broken trees. We don't really have the funds to take down all the broken trees, all the dead trees. But we took down some about a year or so ago. Took down one that was over there. It was huge. If it would have fallen, it would have fallen on something that would have destroyed something. Because no matter what direction it would have fell, it would have taken out something. We took out a tree on this side here. Because if it would have fallen in one direction, it would have destroyed the house. Fallen the other direction, it would have destroyed the power lines to the neighborhood. If it would have went the other direction, it would have been fine. It would have broken down some trees, knocked some more trees down, probably killed some more trees. Because it was a big tree. But we took proactive, and we took what we had, and took out some of those trees. So that our house would be safe when the wind started blowing. When hurricanes come, you try to hurricane-proof your house, board it up, do what you have to do, and hope for the best. Because you don't know how strong those hurricane winds are going to blow. You don't know how high that water is going to come up. There are storms that we cannot control the storms. And we can't control the outcome of the storm. But we can control how we feel at the end of it. Is there going to be grieving? Sure, there's going to be grieving. It's a loss when you lose your house. When those people in California lost their homes. When the people in North Carolina lost their homes. More so for those people that lost their families, their pets. But how do we come out the other side? There was an interview of a woman that a YouTuber had interviewed, and they're like, you just pick up and you move on. We just lost stuff. We'll rebuild. Some are like, we're moving on. You do what you got to do. But how do you feel about it? What is the space that you're coming from for your decisions? That's the important stuff. Not whether the storm's coming, because the storms come. Are you willing to lose friendships over an opinion about other people? And do you really know that person? Like, I know about those people. I don't know them. So to make a judgment call, to say that one's a thief and one isn't, one's arrogant and one isn't, you know, I don't get into that. That's judging. We are not the judge. That's a weight that you're carrying that you don't need to carry. It's okay to have your opinion. It's okay to express your opinion. It's okay for people to hear your opinion. Be ready to back up your opinion with some facts. Because if you don't, people want to hear them. People want to hear the facts unless they are closed off and don't want to hear the facts, in which case they will remain ignorant. When people don't want to hear the facts, they remain ignorant. It is their choice. They have a choice to be ignorant. That's what ignorance is. It's when you don't know. And if you don't know because you don't want to know, that's on you. Oh, getting feisty now. Okay. I think about the problems that people argue about. And then I think of real in my space problems. In my face problems. I have a friend of mine who has cancer. Second bout. I have multiple friends with cancer, by the way. But this person's, I consider a very close friend of mine. She's in the hospital right now with a syndrome called Steven Johnson syndrome, The chemo reacted terribly in her body, went systemic, and created burns all over her body. And as the burns fill up, as the blisters fill up, they burst. She's in great pain. I have a friend who just passed away not too long ago. My husband wanted to go to his funeral, but because he had his appendix out in January, he's a little short on his PTO days. So he's negative right now. In his PTO days, not in his spirit. And I thought about all my friend has gone through, and I'm not going to go through all the stuff that she's gone through, because then a lot of you people will know exactly what I'm talking about. And some of you just don't need to know. People have lost their children that I know. Probably a good 20 close people that I know have lost their children for various reasons. And I sit there and think, my problems are so minimal right now in comparison. I know we're not supposed to compare, but in comparison, my storms, tiny. My storms, most of them caused by myself at this point. Just making wrong decisions. Thinking something's going to work out this way and it doesn't. Little things like that. So I have these little storms that come through. Well, my friends are facing hurricanes. And you don't know what the outcome of that hurricane is going to be. And so there's fear. And it's not for me to say, don't fear. There's some real things on the other side of the storm that says whether you're going to survive or whether you're not. But in that fear, in that unknown, we can have the peace of God that reaches beyond understanding. It's possible to have that kind of peace. I've known people with cancer who have died who exhibited peace through the process. Do people miss them? Yes. Do people grieve? Yes. Grief is not the opposite of peace. But you can have grief while you have peace. You can be in that space of unknown. And you can relinquish that fear for peace. You can trade it in. Doesn't make the circumstances different. It's just how you feel about it. And our opinions, if we allowed them to rule us, can disrupt that peace, can tear apart friendships, can tear apart nations. That is my Fiesty Friday for today. All right. Blessings, everybody. Have a great day. I will see you on Monday. Go to my YouTube on Monday. I'm going to try to give a 3-minute why I do this. All right. See if I can do it in 3 minutes. Because today was ridiculous. I know I said that wrong. I did it on purpose. All right. It was ridiculous. All right. Blessings. Take care. Love you all. Bye.